is Thursday, December 16th. I'm Pat Kernan. Here are the stories we're following. Dr. Ruth Westheimer has spent the last 40 years turning her frank discussions about sex into a career as a popular radio host and TV personality. Now there's a one-woman show about Dr. Ruth at the Museum of Jewish Heritage, telling her full life story from her early years in Nazi-occupied Europe and the way she ended up as a household name in New York. Here's Roger Clark.
I'm so happy you're here. This is so much better than talking to myself.
That's six-time Tony and Emmy-nominated actor Tovah Feldshuh beginning a journey for the audience through the life of Dr. Ruth Westheimer, the famed sex therapist and media personality known to the world as Dr. Ruth, who I spoke with, and at the age of 93, is as vibrant as ever.
She is a fabulous actress. I'm sitting there and I say, how can she do that? How can she talk like me?
Becoming Dr. Ruth is a one-woman show starring Feldshuh on stage at the Museum of Jewish Heritage, a living memorial to the Holocaust in Battery Park City. It's set in the Washington Heights apartment Dr. Ruth has called home for more than a half-century.
The minute I got to the door of my home, the siren sounded.
The show chronicles Dr. Ruth's life from childhood when she fled Nazi Germany, lived as an orphan in Switzerland, served in the Israeli armed forces as a sharpshooter, and then her career frankly discussing sex on radio and television. Feldshuh and Dr. Ruth have known each other for years, but the veteran actor says that didn't make playing Dr. Ruth any easier.
This is from the heart here, from the New York heart. No role I have ever played has affected me as deeply in my life, and I don't mean in my life, I mean in my life off the stage.
Ultimately, Feldshuh would love to see the show, written by Mark St. Germain and directed by Scott Schwartz, make its way to the Great White Way.
Get me to 42nd Street, baby.
Okay, get her to 42nd Street, baby, and I go with her.
There you go.
The limited engagement at the museum ends on January 2nd. Head to mjhnyc.org to get tickets.
And Roger's with us now.
Hey.
Dr. Ruth watches New York 1.
She does. She does. So when she walked in, she goes, I know you. And I was like, yeah, Dr. Ruth knows me? I mean, that's cool. Come on, right? And she goes, I love when you say, I will see you at the theater. And I was like, that's Frank DeLella. Anyway, so Frank who's watching now being like, hey, Dr. Ruth knows me.
But it was an interesting conversation, as one would expect with Dr. Ruth.
I mean, it was, like we had a long chat, and she wanted to mainly talk about the show, right, obviously, and I did make the mistake of asking, I said, I mean, she's a sex therapist, so I probably should have one question. Mm-hmm. So I said, what's the deal with sex during the pandemic? Anything, And she was like, I'd rather not talk about that. So I look like a total idiot.
Oh, she wouldn't go there?
Well, that's not fair. I mean, that would be the question to ask, right?
Well, Jeff Simmons, who's our former colleague, right? So he does PR for the museum, and he had asked her that on his radio show that he does. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was fair game. But she didn't want to talk about it. So.
I like the attention to detail. I'm sitting here watching with you. I'm like, they have the same necklace. And you're like, she had it made because, as well as a lot of her jewelry. So.
Yeah, Tovah Feldshuh actually had a replica made of her necklace. She had the same watch, the same ring, almost like you could almost look the same kind of engagement. So it was really, yeah, exactly. I mean, it was really, and they know each other for years. Dr. Ruth was at Tovah Feldshuh's kid's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and so they really know each other well. So it's not like it was,
It's still intimidating, though, to play.
Oh, I bet.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Well, I said to Tovah Feldshuh, I said, this isn't a stretch for you to play her. And he goes, oh, it's a stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Roger.
Yeah.
7.